Chapter 3. No, 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 no. Tracy, terrifying, pacing back and forth. What's going on? Who's Greengrass? Lyra asked. Only the most dangerous and ambitious noble in the court, Tracy proclaimed. I should have guessed he was behind this. Lyra took the letter with her magic and read it. She blinked after reading it. Tracy, all this says is Dear Duke Greengrass. That really doesn't prove he's a spy or anything. Tracy sighed and rubbed her head. Of course it does. The Duke has spies and contacts everywhere. He has hooves all around Equestria. He doesn't contact any pony unless it is to his advantage, or they work for him. Would this Twilight Sparkle really just write a letter to him for no reason? I don't know. It could be his birthday, or it's a love letter, Larry suggested. Tracy snored. She looked over the letters and eyes widened when she spotted a connection with some of them. Look at this! There are at least 6 letters here with a return address from Ponyville. Tracy opened one and narrowed her eyes. Dear Twi, how's Hoofington? Oh, you must tell me what it's like. I've heard it's a beautiful city, and I'm doing fine. Not much has changed, though the constant monster attacks have made me terrified to even go outside. Oh dear, how could Corona be so inconsiderate? Thank you ever so much for liking my story, Fallen Angel. I didn't think it turned out all that well myself, but your compliments and encouragements made me happy. I have another one in the works. I still haven't thought of a name for it yet. If you have a suggestion, I would love to hear it. It's going to be a shipping fic between Four Winnings and Grimm. This one's going to have a little more action in it. If that's okay with you, of course. I thought it would be fun to try writing them. I have 3 chapters written already, and I should have it finished soon. Hope to talk to you soon. Your friend, F. Sounds like a normal letter to me, Lyra said, perplexed. And that is exactly what Twilight Sparkle wants you to think, Tracy proclaimed. Tracy started looking through Twilight's things again and found a notebook that had Fallen Angel by F on its cover, and below the title was a well-drawn sketch of 2 very effeminate stallions and each other's hooves. She skimmed through it. Lyra came up behind and watched her. What? Lyra asked. Is there something up with the story? Tracy set the notebook down. I think I know what's going on. The letter and story seem normal, but they are in fact actually a secret code. Lyra blinked. What? Code, Tracy explained. Carefully hidden messages that could be read by using a key. Like what? Lyra wondered. Tracy sighed. It's impossible to say. It could be literally anything. It could be, for example, say, every 50th word, or maybe it's read by using a complex mathematical equation. Without the key, it's impossible to decipher the real message. Lyra took the notebook and her magic and started reading through it. But why would this even be in code in the first place? Tracy beamed. Simple. This F is really Twilight Sparkle's Ponyville contact. F reports their info to Twilight, who then reports back to Greengrass. Lyra continued to look through the notebook. Using this Boilov Shafik, I have to give it to Greengrass, and no pony would ever expect that, Tracy said in begrudging admiration. Lyra mulled this information over. Still sounds a little far-fetched. Think about it. Tracy closed her eyes, thought of all the clues she had so far. Could it really just be a coincidence that Twilight Sparkle just happens to contact the Duke at the exact time she investigates the Galaxy Rangers? That she just so happens to use code in their notes, making them unreadable to any pony besides her? That she just so happens to have a pen pal in Ponyville, a pen pal that refuses to use her real name, and she just so happens to pose as an oh-so innocent reporter? Look at all of this. This will look like anything a normal reporter would have. Lyra, I know the Night Court, and I know the Duke. In my experience, there's no such thing as coincidence. Trust me. Okay, Lyra said hesitantly. Twilight Sparkle does seem at least a little suspicious. I know exactly how to prove it. Find out if Twilight Sparkle is a member of the newspaper guild. Tracy started to put back everything she found it, satisfied she had everything she needed. Twilight needed to be a member of the guild, or no reputable paper would ever publish her writings. Good plan, Lyra complimented. I'll take the first string to Carol on it then. Tracy smirked. No need. I already got Pokey to do it. You should have the results by the time I get home. Good thinking. Tracy smirked. Like I said, this is my specialty. Everything was put back to where it was before Tracy entered the room, and the two left after Tracy made them invisible. The key was returned back to with the rest of the spare keys, and they left Twilight's hotel. Tracy spent the rest of the trip to ponder who F was. The return address of the letters was a P.O. box in Ponyfield Post Office, making it difficult to tell exactly who it belongs to. Ditsy would know, but Tracy doubted Ditsy would help her, citing some nonsense about protecting the privacy of her customers. Tracy thought through all the ponies she knew that name started with F. It suddenly hit her. So obvious. It was Flitter. Thinking about it, she saw the Pegasus around her house too often. She was a Pegasi, so it would be easy for her to spy on Tracy without her noticing. She could do it by a roof or cloud, and Tracy would never know. In fact, there was Flitter right now. The mayor saw Tracy look at her and waved at her across the street. Lyra waved back, and Tracy did her best fake smile wave as well. Tracy watched as Flitter joined her sister Cloud Chaser and watched the Sukiku Korin chatting to each other. Flitter laughed at a joke, something her sister said. Tracy thought about telling Lyra her suspicions, but decided against it. It would tip their hoof, and it would be better if Tracy kept this to herself for now. The two arrived at Tracy's house, and thankfully, trusty assistant Pokey Pierce was there to greet her. Hey, Pokey. So, what did you find? Tracy asked, eager for an answer. It turns out your paranoid ravings were right this time. Pokey quipped. There is no record of a Midnight Sparkler being a member of the newspaper guild. Pokey! Trixie exclaimed and groaned. It was Twilight Sparkle! Twilight Sparkle! She made sure to say the name slowly, so she could probably understand it. I know, Pokey replied. Trixie blinked. What? I was just messing with you. Pokey grinned. You're right. Twilight isn't a member of the guild. Trixie groaned. This was a serious situation. Yes, you were right. I'm sorry I doubted you, Trixie, Lyra said. You grew up in a night court. I should have trusted your judgment. I suppose sometimes the bunny in the padded room with a straitjacket is right. Pokey interjected. Trixie glared down. So, what now? Lyra asked, trying to prevent a fight between these two. Easy. We scare her out of town, Trixie replied after stopped glaring at Pokey. How do we do that? Lyra asked. I already have the perfect plan, Trixie said mischievously. I don't know about this, Lyra said for the third time. Trixie sighed. Trust me, this will work. They were looking at the brilliant monster costumes she had made. The plan was simple. They were going to scare Twilight Sparkle out of town. Trixie was adept at costume making, and even the most hardened Night Court agent would drop dead in fright at the sight of it. It was a metal monstrosity with a buzzsaw on top of his head and 2 more buzzsaws at the end of each arm. He also had buzzsaws coming out of his shoulders as well. Trixie decided to make it bipedal as well, so both her and Lyra would have to wear the thing, with Trixie standing on Lyra's shoulders. It was super awkward and difficult to move around, but Trixie liked the look of it. Trixie wished she could use an illusion, but she didn't want to risk Twilight seeing through the facade with her magic. She was an agent of green grass. No doubt she was trained for that. It seemed like those ugly, ridiculous thick glasses of hers had a spell on them that allowed the spy to see through illusions. One problem. How does it feed itself? Lyra asked. What? Trixie asked, stunned. You can't grab anything with buzzsaws at the end of your hooves. It's also way too tall. It would have to bend down to get over to get anything placed on a table. That would really be annoying and inconvenient. Its mouth is also a little too small to really grab anything. It doesn't matter, Trixie said, exasperated. Ponies will think of that when they look at it, Lyra explained. No, they won't, Trixie argued back. I would, Lyra shot back. I would feel sorry for it. It doesn't matter, Trixie repeated again. Fine, but don't blame me when Twilight points this out when we attack her. Trixie faced off. Let's just get this over with. Why did she think this was a good idea again? Tracy underestimated just how hot the suit would get up, and was practically soaked with her own sweat. Lyra wasn't faring any better and was complaining the entire trip. Tracy did her entire best to ignore it, and Lyra was whining, and focused on invisibility spells she was using to hide them, while they tracked down Twilight Sparkle. It was difficult and somehow made the situation even more uncomfortable. Lyra said she left her at the library, so that was where they were lumbering towards. Moving was awkward, and it was hard to see through the small slits in the eye holes, to say the least, but they were moving at a steady pace. After a torturous 15 minutes, they arrived at their destination. Tracy grinned in triumph when she spied Twilight's purple mane through the window. There she is. Ready, Lyra grunted. I guess. Let's get this over with. Tracy almost giggled in excitement. They slowly went towards the door, and Lyra opened the door with her magic. It was difficult trying to duck their way in, but somehow they managed in without toppling over. Fortunately, Lyra slammed the door behind them and Tracy glared at her. Oops, Lyra said sheepishly. They were still invisible, but no doubt Twilight Sparkle would be alerted by the second sound. Surprisingly, this turned out to not be the case. She was sitting on the floor, surrounded by books and high, haphazard towers. Tracy noticed with alarm that one of the books in the pile was the Elements of Harmony, a reference guide. Twilight's attention was focused completely on the book she was reading. Tracy grinned. Perfect. They moved behind Twilight, and there was no way she could hear them with the sound-dampening spell Tracy was using. This was the best spot to scare her. Tracy dropped her invisibility spell. Ready? Tracy asked. Lyra nodded. Roar! Tracy roared at the top of her lungs. Nothing. Twilight didn't move or do anything she didn't even hear at all. She kept reading her book like nothing happened. Roar. Tracy tried again, making it as loud as he could. Nothing. Nothing at all. Twilight still didn't react. Roar! I'm a scary monster trying to eat you! Tracy yelled, waving her arms for emphasis. Still no response. She wondered what the hell was going on. Was he deaf? Try again, Lyra said, lighting her horn. This will amplify your voice. Roar! I am Desiccated here to kill you! Tracy tried once again. A voice boomed all over the library. It was almost deafening. Still no response. You have got to be kidding me! Tracy cried in frustration. Lyra looked speechless. So, what now? Lyra asked. Tracy grinned. This will work for sure. Roar! Meet your doom, Twilight Sparkle, for I am going to feast on your soul! Tracy used her magic to erupt fireworks around her as she said this. Still nothing. Still reading that stupid book like they weren't even there. Tracy growled in frustration. What is this racket all about? An elderly voice said from a distance. An elderly unicorn mare with a mane of pure white light and a blue coat was entered the room from the library's back room. Tracy quickly turned herself invisible. Twilight, are you throwing a party in here or something? The old mare asked. Twilight gave no response. She decided to slowly trotted to the younger mare. Tapped Twilight on the shoulder. Ah! Twilight screamed. Tracy faced off, or at least tried to. It was difficult with buzz off her hooves. Twilight brightened inside the elderly mare. Oh, it's you, Knowledge Broker. What in the hay is going on here? Were you shooting off fireworks? Broker asked, annoyed. Twilight blinked. Fireworks? No, it's just me reading these books. Nothing else happened besides that. I could have sworn, Broker said before screaming. Tracy picked this exact time to make herself visible. Twilight turned and yelled in fright as well. Tracy did her best to look menacing. Twilight looked around the library, then outside to the ponies walking around town. Lastly, to Knowledge Broker, who was cowering in fear. She gritted her teeth. Suddenly, she disappeared in a flash. Tracy and Lyra blinked in sudden confusion. Twilight then appeared right in front of them, grabbed the thing she thought was a monster with a hoof. Her horn glowed again, and they were gone. Titsy hummed to herself. It was a nice day, and she was enjoying a walk with her daughter, Dinky. She had planned on enjoying this too little rare day off. Dinky was skipping behind her, carefree, and Titsy tickled at her antics. She noticed by the position of the sun it was almost dusk and dinner time. It unfortunately wasn't going to be anything special. Just leftover pizza. Titsy was about to say it was about time they got back home when she heard some pony crying for help. Ditsy rushed towards the voice, so determined to do what she could to help. Dinky did her best to follow. Ponies were panicking around her, trying to get her away. Ditsy ignored them for a moment. Everybody, you need to get out of here to safety! A purple unicorn cried out, running back and forth. Ditsy stopped in front of her. What's going on? Look, Corona's monsters is here. You need to get to safety. Now it's out of town, disoriented by my teleportation spell, but only for a moment, the unicorn explained. It's not going to be happy. She left her to warn other ponies. Mom! Dinky hugged her mother's hoof leg in fear. Shh, Ditsy said, trying to soothe her daughter while stroking the filly's head. It's gonna be okay. Dinky didn't say anything, but just nodded, uncomforted by these words. Honey, I need to go to Mr. Pokey's house, Ditsy said. It was the closest place to safety. Dinky looked alarmed. Mom? I need you to get to safety, and that's the best place to go, Ditsy explained. Dinky stirred. I'll be fine. I need to stay behind and help warn ponies, Ditsy lied. She hated to do this, but she needed to stop that monster, now. Dinky eventually gave a hesitant nod and ran out to safety. Ditsy gave a reassuring wave and the filly was gone. Ditsy flew away and found a safe place to transform free for prying eyes. There was an empty alley behind a nearby building. Oh, for Pete's sake, it's legendary! Oh, he's really doing this, folks. He's actually putting his hand behind his back, ready to grab a morpher that doesn't exist. It's morphin' time! Ditsy pulled out her morpher and thrust it in front of her. Sagittarius! And he did the morphing pose. He is such a ranger otaku. Ditsy felt her armor form around her, mentally prepared herself for battle. She was a little confused why Corona was suddenly break her habit of summoning monsters during midday, but that didn't matter at this moment. When she was fully transformed, she pressed the button on her morpher to summon her staff. She thrust out and quickly found her quarry. It was a monstrous thing, completely metal with buzzsaws for hooves. She felt twins for pitying it for it. How did Equestria defeat itself? It was stumbling around disoriented. It was heading towards town, and froze when it spotted. I'm not gonna let you take another step forward, Ditsy proclaimed, pointing a hoof at the monster. You're not gonna hurt a single pony. I won't let you. Wait, what? The creature tried to say, but Ditsy ignored and continued on. These ponies, this town, are under my protection! Ditsy cried out. She thought of her friends, her neighbors, Dinky. There was no way she would let this monster hurt a single hair on any of them. As Princess Luna is my witness, I'll fight you to my last breath. Prepare yourself! Suddenly, the creature just vanished. Ditsy blinked. She looked around. It was nowhere in sight. She realized instantly the thing just turned invisible. Nice trick, but one she had seen 1,000 times thanks to her friend Trixie. It won't escape her that easily. She scanned the area to make sure to stay patient and keep her eyes open. Ditsy smirked. Being invisible is all well and good, but it doesn't hide your presence completely. Her suit amplified her cube mark's ability to sense air currents. It wasn't hard to detect where the monster was through its movements. Ditsy pressed a button on her belt. She whirled her staff over her head. It became a blur, and energy gathered around and sparked around it. Ditsy unleashed the energy and threw it towards where she knew the monster was, and summoned a mini tornado in the shape of an arrow. It sucked into the creature and quickly lost its invisibility, soaring high in the air by the spinning vortex. Ditsy turned around, slammed her staff on the ground. Use of destruction! The creature exploded. Ditsy couldn't help a satisfied smirk. This went easier than expected. Ditsy quickly found a safe place to untransform and did so. She trotted towards Pokey's house. Luckily, her daughter wasn't too far from the fight scene, and hugged her tight when she spotted her mother. Dinky cried and buried her face in Ditsy's coat. She responded by stroking her daughter's head. Here, dear, it's okay. It's all over. Dinky started, was pulled into a hug and kissed on her forehead. The monster is gone. The Galaxy Rangers kicked us butt and saved us all, Ditsy said comfortably. Dinky asked. Ditsy nodded. Of course. Good always beats evil. Dinky said quietly. The two walked in silence back home. Dinky never strayed too far from her mother. Mommy? Dinky asked. What is it, honey? Ditsy replied. Do you think I could be a Galaxy Ranger when I grow up? Dinky asked.
Ditsy thought about this. Maybe. She started to laugh. In this world, anything is possible.
Diggy seemed pleased at that, and started running around, seeming to pretend to be a ranger herself. Her past fears obviously forgotten, much to Ditsy's relief. Really though, who would have guessed her life would have turned out like this? Yeah, who would have thought, huh? The end credits start playing. We see the cast list. And my boss is currently in pain.
Just get to that next scene, you ungrateful hack.
Tracy went slowly, but steadily moving towards the outskirts of town, which was apparently where Twilight was currently hanging out, according to some random ponies. Tracy's body was covered in bandages, as he needed a walking stick. I was determined to protect her friends. Tracy was alone now. Lyra just gave up, went home, concluding that this isn't worth it, and she probably isn't even a spy anyway. It was disheartening and a little annoying, but understandable. Tracy hoped beyond hope that Bonbon never learns of this mishap. Tracy spotted her quarry and dove into a bush. She was in pain but did her best to ignore it. Twilight missed it was messy with a strange box-like contraption with antennae at the end, and was waving around enthusiastically. She wrote to a notebook, taking it into the device findings. Tracy had no idea what she was doing, and realized this was the location she confronted Ditsy in earlier. Twilight was doing science, and Tracy had no clue what that even meant. She concluded it was, in fact, a bad thing and needed to be stopped. Tracy was a bit at a loss of what to do. Twilight would not scare easy, and threats would not deter her at all. Maybe blackmail? That might work. But she was dealing with a powerful and cunning adversary. It was hard to tell how she would react to that. What she really needed to do was convince the mayor that investigating the Galaxy Rangers was not worth it. She was on Greengrass's payroll. Tracy wondered if she could bribe her into giving her false information. Tracy gave up that idea. She couldn't pay more than Greengrass, and he would hire someone so easily tempted. Tracy thought she would have an idea when she was suddenly and unexpectedly pulled from her hiding spot into the air. Tracy waved her hose frantically, not sure what's going on.
Here you are,
Pinky declared, and set Tracy gently on the ground.
I've been looking all over for you. How did you find me?
Tracy demanded. She was invisible and kept completely still this time, so there was no way Pinky could have found her.
I'm a same-time world champion of hide-and-seek. Duh!
Pinky rolled her eyes.
No offense, Trixie, but you're a little out of your league.
What? Was all Trixie could say.
Turning invisible is not great of a trick, really, Pinky explained. You won't believe how many unicorns think that actually works.
Tracy was indignant that something like a hide-and-seek world championship would ever exist. Tricks. Of course it did. I kept getting 4th place. Pinky always got me. But not this year. This year, I have my druid magic. This year, I'm going to use my druid magic and my other magical abilities to hide in a place that she'll never find me. Just give me a second. She found me in 3 seconds. She just threw up her hose.
Fine, whatever. What do you want, Pinky?
Twilight, over here! Pinky waved her hose. Twilight seldom walked over to Trixie's horror.
Oh, hey, Pinky,
Twilight said, waving.
There's something I want you to meet.
Pinky pushed Trixie forward.
This is Trixie!
Oh, hello. It's nice to meet you, Twilight said politely. I've heard so much about you. Trixie gritted her teeth and stared at the pink maze.
Hello.
It almost sounded polite.
Pinky, may I talk to you for a second?
Certainly, Trix, Pinky grinned. Trixie pulled Pinky aside.
What do you think you are doing?
She demanded.
Making you a new friend. Duh!
Pinky said like it was the most obvious thing ever.
Why?
Trixie asked, trying to hardest not to completely flip out.
Isn't it obvious? Pinky asked. You're a unicorn, she's a unicorn, you both like magic, you have like a gazillion things in common, it's a perfect match. Look, I appreciate the sentiment, but...
Tracy started. But Pinky interrupted.
Oh, you're just being grumpy pants, he said. You're trying. I know you'll be Bessie's and Mullins.
You know, if this was anybody else, I would think she was trying to hook Trixie up.
Well, look at the time. I have to be going. Well, look at the time. I have to get going. I'll leave you to do it.
Pinky suddenly announced loudly before dashing off before Trixie could protest. The two stood there in silence for a long while. So, do you like books? Twilight asked awkwardly.
Yes, for the most part,
Trixie said simply when it was more or less true. Twilight buried at this. Have you read Quark's Quirky Quest of Quantum?
No,
You should. It's a great book about current theories and findings in quantum physics, a field that's only been recently discovered. Twilight explained with enthusiasm.
I'll pick it up if I ever get time,
Trixie said dryly. By her tone, she hoped she would make it clear she won't read that book, even if you put a crossbow to her head. Another period of awkward silence followed. Twilight started to visit. Trixie just stared at her coldly. So, do you like reading about animals? Twilight tried again. I found this really interesting book about mollusks while looking through the light.
Let's just get this started already,
Trixie interrupted. What? Twilight asked, bewildered.
I know exactly who you are,
Trixie declared. Twilight's ears folded as she drew frantically. I see. I saw as much, Twilight said in a quiet voice. I'm not surprised you hate me, not after what I did.
Trixie growled. I'm glad to see we're on the same page.
Trixie, I'm sorry. Twilight was actually starting to tear up, and this made Trixie blink. She was a little surprised that a nature of green grass would break so easily.
Trixie snoring. Do you really think I would forgive you that easily? And everything you've done?
It was Twilight's turn to blink.
I know what I did was bad, but
isn't this a bit of an extreme reaction just for a stolen library book?
Boo! Do 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 do.